Hi, your friendly neighborhood gypsy here with Mad Hatter Tea Party Art's Bloom and Bottle online paint party. Now, Bloom and Bottle is a very interesting painting. It kind of transcends all the seasons. It can be a summer painting, it can be a spring painting, it can be a fall painting, it can even be a I wished it was spring winter painting. It's it's an interesting painting because it's a timeless painting. This painting will be just as relevant 5 years from now as it is today. You can hang it in your dining room, in your kitchen, in your office. I mean, it's so many places where you can display this painting. It is a versatile painting. It's also a fun painting to do. And we're going to do it. Now, we're going to go over the supplies you need first. First and foremost, you're going to need an example sheet. Okay? That's the Bloom and Bottle example sheet. Just print that off from your printer. Then you're going to need your brushes, which are your 1 inch flat, your liner brush, and I have a number 8 and a number 6. Always keep a number 8, or a 10 rather, sorry. I got a number 8 and a number 10. Always keep both of them because I don't know what size I'm going to use until I actually start getting into the painting. You know, it just depends on where I'm going with it, how small a detail I want, how large an area I want to cover. But we'll get into that as we get more into the painting. You're also going to need your canvas, and if you had prepared ahead of time, you've done your line drawing on the canvas. You've done your tracer. Your tracer, this is an 11x14 splice tracer here. You just lay it on your canvas. You put your carbon paper down first, then you lay the tracer down, and you trace over in pencil, and you have your outline design. Now, excuse me, another thing that you'll need is you'll need a palette. This is my favorite palette right here. This one is just a $1.99 cutting board from Walmart, but I've had it for years. You can tell it's well used, and it cleans up easily, and I really love this. It'll be a long time before I get rid of this. And you also need a cup of water for rinsing your brushes in so that you can get your brushes clean. And you'll need either a wipe rag or some paper towels or some napkins, but something that you can wipe your brushes on. So, with that being said, what do you say I minimize the screen and we'll start doing this painting? Are you ready? I know I am. So let's get the screen minimized. It's like Alice in Wonderland, you know, smaller and smaller and smaller. And we go up there in the corner, and I'll just hide out up there in the corner for the duration of the painting. You'll be able to see me up there. All right. So what I want to do first is I want to start with this with the spiced pumpkin. We're going to put a little bit here on the palette. Oh, you know what? I broke my own rule. Always shake it up first. You gotta shake it up. Give it a good shake. Give it a real good shake. Alright, we'll put a little bit on there. Now, using your 1 inch brush, grab some of that. Always pull it out. I always tell you pull it out. Don't just dip directly into the big blob of paint that you have there. Pull it out. And then I want you to go up here into these petals. And I want you to just start filling these petals in. Now, keep in mind when you're doing this, you don't have to be precise. This particular painting, it's really funny. There's really no perfection in this painting at all. You know, a lot of times as artists, you know, we want to be perfect. We want everything absolutely perfect. This one's a little bit different. You don't need perfection. It's more a natural thing, natural flow. So we'll just go in here and we'll put this spiced pumpkin into these petals. And see, I'm just brushing it in. Just getting some brushing going on there. I want to bring that in closer to the center of our sunflower there. I like sunflowers. They're one of my favorite flowers. They're not my favorite flower, but they are one of my favorites. If hard pressed, I'd have to say that my favorite flower is one that don't last very long, and it's lilac. Love lilacs. When I was growing up, there was a lilac bush right outside my bedroom window, and I loved it in the springtime when the lilacs are blooming because it smelled so good out there. It was really nice. Okay, you see how I'm kind of brushing those petals in there, just getting them brushed in. And you see I'm not being precise. I'm just kind of brushing them up in there. We'll get a little more precise later on, but for right now, just get your color. Get your color into the petals, just like so. And you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Just brush in there. Use the edge of your 1 inch and get in there and just kind of brush them in. Brush them in like that. Pretty easy. Not much to it. I'll get that in there. Then once you get those done, oh, need a little bit more of this. Then go up into these petals here and get these petals. Don't forget about these petals. These have to be got too. They're very important. If you override the bottle a little bit, don't worry about it. You can actually, that little bit of paint that goes into the bottle is not going to hurt anything. This spiced pumpkin or any of the other paint, because the bottle's glass and it will pick up reflections off of what's outside of it, like the flowers, for instance. Get a little bit of it up in here. Now, once you have that done, once you have your initial petals done, what you need to do next, do not rinse your brush. Get a little bit of your yellow. Again, don't forget to shake the bottle. Very, very important. Get a little bit of your yellow. Put it right there next to the spiced pumpkin. And again, don't rinse your brush. Grab a little bit of that yellow, some of that spiced pumpkin in it, and then you're going to do your petals again. You're going to go over your petals. Just grab it, get it right over those petals. Just kind of brush it up in there. Just like that. Just brush it up in there. Don't have to be precise. Nothing has to be even. You just want this nice little blend going, okay? If you're trying to make everything even, you're doing the wrong thing, because nothing in nature is even. Each little thing in nature has a color and a kind of life all of its own. And nothing is going to be even. So you come in here, you just brush that in. Just like so. Do each individual one. Don't try to do them all at once, because it won't look right. I'm going to tell you right now, it just will not look right if you do that. So you can brush each one of those in there just like that. Pretty simple. All right. Now, after you get those brushed in, without rinsing your brush out, once you get a little bit of burnt sienna, don't need much, just a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit. Pull some of it out there. Keep some of that yellow in there. And then go right here. I want you to go right here in the center, just right there. Right in the center of your sunflower. Just kind of brush that in there like that. Picking up some of that yellow. I want you to do the same thing. Grab just a little bit of it. And this little spot up here, this little tiny spot, I want you to get that right there. Okay? So we got that taken care of. Now, you rinse your brush. This is the point where we rinse the brush. Get that brush all nicely rinsed out. Then I want you to get your burnt umber. Don't forget to shake that bottle. Always shake that bottle. Get your burnt umber. Pull it out. Pulling out is very important, okay? Because what you want to do here, you don't want to get a big glob of paint on your brush. You can see I got a little bit of paint on my brush, and that was just from coming to the edge of the paint and pulling it back out. Now, come in here in the center, kind of brush in that center. If you overlap a little bit like I just did, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of that later. But come in here and kind of just brush in that center. Just get it brushed in there. You want to come right up to the edge of your center part. Kind of make sure there's no white showing. And just kind of brush it in there. You want it a little bit rough looking. Just like that. Bring it out to the edge. Bring it out to that edge. Do the same up here. Just a little bit. Just because you can always see a little bit right in there. So just do a little bit right in there. Just like that. Now, rinse your brush. We're going to take your dark green, whether you use black forest green or whether you use Hauser green, it don't matter, but take your green and we are going to fill in this bottle. Just come down your side. Follow the curve of the bottle. And fill it in. You don't want a solid color on this, okay? You want it to be varying in colors. So some areas will be a darker green than others, some will be a lighter green than others. Come down in here, fill this all in. I need to get a little more green there. If you drink wine, you already know that a glass bottle is going to have different layers of color in it. It's not just one solid color. It never will be one solid color. So you're just going to come in here and put your green in. Put a little green down here below. And always keep brushing up, okay? Don't brush across like this. You don't want to do that. You want to brush up and up. Brush up. From the edge of your label, brush up. Now, put your 1-inch brush to one side. I think I'm going to go ahead and use number 10 on this. Once you come back in here with your green, and right on the edge of that label, once you come across, just smooth out the edge of the label, just like so. Then I want you to brush it up. Just like that. And do the same thing here. Come down on the edge of the label. Brush it up. Come over here on your edge. Pull your edge over. See how I'm fanning that brush out as I come down? I'm pulling it back towards me. Makes that nice clean edge. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Come down. Let that brush fan out a little bit. Pick up some paint from down here. And bring that edge down. Put a little paint there. Bring that edge down. Just like that. All right. Now, we have our base color on our bottle. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of black. If I grab the black, there it is. Grab a little bit of black here. Oh, that wasn't the black. That was my green. I'm getting colorblind here. There's my black. I've gone colorblind. Oh no! A colorblind artist. We're going to grab a little bit of black here. What we're going to do without cleaning out the brush. So we're going to come right here on the edge of the bottle. And we're going to pull down right on the edge of the bottle. Take it all the way to the bottom. Just pull it all the way down. I want you to do the same thing again over on the other side. On this side here, you go right on the edge of the bottle. Once you pull it down with that black. Just like that. Just pull it down. Okay. Now I want you to take some of that black, and right here on the edge of the label I want you to brush this up. Just like that. Just kind of brush it up and out. Just kind of let it feather up. Just feather up. Just like that. Just keep that going. Just kind of feather it up. Just real lightly. Just touch your brush lightly to the canvas. You don't want to touch it very hard. Just touch it lightly. Feather it up. Just lightly feather it. Don't go all the way over here to the side. Just keep it over in this area here. Just feather up with it. Kind of follow the contours of your bottle. Feather that up. All right. Now, your next step, after I get the paint off the side of my hand, is to take your black and you want to go right in here. And you don't want this neat, okay? You just want to kind of do that with it. This should not be neat at all. This should just be, we're just going to take it, we're just going to kind of dab all that in there like that. Just kind of dab it in. You don't want a solid like line. You don't want a perfect line here. That's not what we're working towards. You just want it kind of ragged looking, just a little ragged looking in there. Just make it a little ragged looking. Kind of just dab your brush in there. Work that edge up and around. Just like that. Just like that. Pretty simple. Nothing much to it. Take that brush, rinse it. Get that black out of there. This next part you're going to do very carefully. I want you to... Oh, hold on a second. Leave it to me to forget something. I forgot to do this little bit of black up here. I get that in there. And I almost forgot. Just kind of touching the center right there. Center eye of the sunflower. Just kind of touch it a little bit like that. Okay, now rinse your brush. Not perfect. I forget things sometimes, you know. It happens. Okay, after you have your brush rinsed, I want you to take some of that yellow that we used a little bit ago. This is the part where you need to be very, very careful. What I want you to do is I just want you to kind of touch where you see that white at, and right on the edge of that black. Try not to draw too much of that black up into your flower. Just a touch right in there. Just kind of touch right on the edge. Just right on the edge of that black. You don't want to pull too much of that black up into your petals. Just barely touching with that yellow. Just barely touching. Gives a nice little blending effect right there. Just barely touch it. Bring it back towards your petals. Just like so. Pretty easy. Just come in here. Barely touching it. Just gonna come in and barely touch. Just like that. Pretty simple. Then I want you to do the same thing up at the top. I want you to just barely touch. You don't want to see any white between the black and the petals. Just barely touch it in there. That's all you have to do. Okay, once you get that done, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some white. While those petals are still wet. Once you take this white, maybe take a little bit of the yellow, not much, just grab some white out there. Just kind of spread that white out. Grab just a little touch of yellow. That may be too much yellow. Let's put a little more white in that. Okay. About like that. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go up in here and get a little bit crazy with the petals. Just kind of, you're just going to highlight those petals. Get those petals highlighted. Just get a little crazy with them. Just highlight them out. Just give them a little, don't want to forget that one in there. Just highlight them. Here and do whatever feels right to you. Okay, just go in here and highlight these. Just highlight them. Once you get those highlighted, once you come back in with the yellow without cleaning out your brush, still keep that white in there, but come back in with your yellow. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to lightly streak up into your petal. Slightly streak up into it. Just like that. Just streak into the petal. Lightly streak up into it. Just don't go all the way up to the end of the petal. You just want down here at the bottom. You just want to lightly streak up in that petal. Do the same thing over here. Oh, I didn't get my white over there. Let's get my white over there. So easy to forget things sometimes. Get the white over here. Okay. And with the yellow again, just lightly streak up into the petals. Just a real light touch. That's all you need. Just like that. Okay. Now my sunflower is a little bit more orange than what the example picture is. If you want to lighten your sunflower, it's real easy to do. Get your white. Get your brush wet. Grab some of that white. Okay. And all you're going to do is mix it in with your yellow. And if you want it lighter, you can just brush up in. Don't go over your white that you did though. Just kind of brush up in. This way you can get your petal a little bit lighter. Just like that. Nice thing is, anytime you do a painting, you can step back away from it, you can take a look at it, and if there's something that don't quite please you, well, let the painting dry, go back over it again. Nobody says that when you complete a painting that it's wrote in stone that you have to keep that painting exactly the way it looks. You can always change. Always. So see, I'm lightening up those petals now. Now, this is where the neat trick comes in. It's not just a matter of throwing some new paint over the top of the old paint to line those up. It's a matter of making that blend. So while that paint's still wet, get your brush wet. Come back in and blend that paint. Use a wet brush to blend that paint back. Just like so. Now what I'm going to do, because I lighten those petals, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to redo my white. Oh, I picked up some green. That's funny. It's okay. So you see I've gone in here just by adding a little touch of a yellowish white on there. And then coming back in, brushing that yellowish white on there. Then come back in with a wet brush. I now change the color of the petals. The petals are now a new color. I'm going to do the same up at the top. I'm going to get some of my yellowish white here. come in here and I'm going to brush that in because I really didn't like how dark those petals were. And you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can do it however you want. This is what I'm going to do to line those up. And then I'll come in here and I'll get my brush a little wet. I'm just going to blend that back. And then because I basically lost my white highlights, I'm going to go back in and put my white highlights. And remember, pick up just a little bit of the yellow. I'm just going to go in and just kind of throw my white highlights back in there. Just like so. Put the white highlights back in. Come in here like that, and we'll come like that. And there, I got my white highlights back in there. Now, we'll do the top one. And why I have a little bit of that orange in there, see, I picked up a little bit of orange. It's going to come in here when you hit this label. Just kind of clean out my brush on that label. And we'll leave it just like that for now. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our lighter green. And you're going to want to mix some yellow in with this. So I'll put the green down. Then we'll grab the yellow. And we are going to mix a little bit of yellow in with that lighter green. This part here, too yellow. Get a little more green there. There we go. This part here, you just want to go in. You want to get in there and hit those edges. Just go around and hit the edges right there. Create yourself an imaginary line that's somewhere right about in here. That's your imaginary line. You go in here and fill this green in. Get that green all filled in there. You want to get it all there on that edge. You're going to do this all the way around. Between each petal, you're going to put that green in. That kind of light yellowish green. Come up here. Go around each petal. It don't have to be neat. Remember what I said. Don't have to be neat and precise. It shouldn't be neat and precise because it's nature. Excuse me. You want to make sure that you get, when you do your yellowish green up in here, you want to make sure that you get the edge of that bottle. So you're coming up in here with your yellowish green. Get it all up through here. You want to see it up in there. Follow the edge of the bottle. Come through here. Just like that. Follow the edge of that bottle. Just kind of dab it up in there. Okay, once you have it dabbed in there, next thing I want you to do is I want you to get your dark green. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're just going to kind of dab this in. And just dab it in there. You're wanting to add like a texture in there. So you just basically want to kind of dab it in there. You don't want anything solid. Don't override your other green that's in there. You just want to kind of dab it. So dab it up in there. Leave a little edge. It can be darker in some areas. It can be lighter, but just kind of dab it in. I like that word, dab, 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 dab. I'm just going to dab that up in there. I want that lighter green to show from behind it. Dab it up in there. Leave a little edge on the edge of the bottle. It kind of helps outline the bottle is what it does. See, we're just kind of dabbing that up in there. There we go. Now, once you have that dabbed in there, come back in here with a little bit of my black. Kind of overrode the edge of the bottle right there, so I'm just gonna, without cleaning out my brush, while I still have the green in there because it's gonna help the bottle. We'll just come down like that and do that. I took care of that. Now, without cleaning your brush, take your light green while you still have it, okay? And what I want you to do is make sure you don't dip your arm in the paint. That's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to come in here and I want you to just kind of lightly brush that in. Get your green. Just brushing it into the bottle. Grab a little bit of that yellow. Add some of the yellow to it. Brush it down into the bottle. Just kind of brush it in there. Kind of grab a little bit of the yellow. Don't be afraid to grab the yellow. You don't want much, but grab a little bit of the yellow just to put in there. Grab that green, kind of make a little smiley face right there. Bring a little bit of it up there. Come over on the other side. Kind of just lightly, just kind of streak down into it. Just bring it down. Just bring that green in. Grab a little yellow. Bring that yellow into it. A little bit of yellow into it. Now, this is the point where I have to remind you that your painting is your painting. Not everybody's painting is going to be identical. Not everybody's painting is going to look alike. Never ever judge your painting by someone else's painting. Worst thing you can do. Absolutely worst thing you can do. Your painting is going to be your painting and your painting alone. It'll be your vision. It'll be your painting. Don't try to judge your painting by someone else's painting. Wrong thing to do. Now, take a little bit, just a little bit of your spiced pumpkin. Just add a little bit of it in here. Just kind of brush a little bit in. Just kind of add a small touch of it. Not much. Don't get crazy with it. Just a little tiny touch of it in there. Just like so. Just a touch. Then, then what I want you to do, without cleaning out your brush, I want you to kind of wipe your brush down like this. See how I'm just kind of wiping it out a little bit? I'm not dipping it in the water. That's not what I want to do here. I want to grab some of this white here. And what I want to do is I want to come in and I want to add a little bit of white. I want to streak some white in there, just like we did with the green. I'm going to streak a little white in there. It's kind of abstract. Just streak a little white in. Work it down. Bring some white in there. Add a little bit of white here. Some right there. Come over here and I'm going to add some white on these edges. Just going to add a little white in there. Just kind of touch it. Streak it in. And you're done. As soon as you get the amount of white in there that you like, what you're seeing that you like, you're done at that point. Okay, now our next step is we're going to rinse the brush, same brush we've been using. And we are going to go in and we're going to grab this yellow right here. And we're going to dab. We're just going to dab right up in there like so. Just kind of dab it in. Just dab it. Don't hit your bottle. Just like that. And take a little bit of it and go up in here and dab some of it in. Again, don't hit the bottle, okay? Just kind of dab that up in there, just like that. Now, once that's dabbed in there, next thing you want to do is you want to take your white. You want to get your white. Excuse me. And you're going to dab your white right over that yellow. Just like so. You want to override it a little bit into that green. Dab it and override it into the green. Dab and override into the green. Dab it and override it into the green, just like so. Dab and override into the green. Then when you get on the edge of your bottle, I want you just to take, and I want you to follow the edge of your bottle. Let's come up. And let that be kind of a border for your bottle right there. Okay? Then I want you to do the same thing up here. I want you to dab the white into the yellow. Just dab a little white into that yellow. Then I want you to follow the edge of your bottle. Just come down. Follow the edge of the bottle. Just like that. Okay. Now, our next step is to do the label. Label's fairly simple, nothing to it. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this orange with that white. Get that white. And then just brush the label. Just get the label brushed. This is the part where you'll square off the label. You'll make the label edges smooth. You're just going to come in here. You'll square off that label. Use that orange and white mixture and fill in that label. Now, if you want, you can put the name of your favorite wine in there, or, you know, some little message on the label if you want. But I'm just going to do an abstract label. We're just going to do an abstract label. I'm going to pick up some of this, little bit of this orange here. And what I'm going to do is lightly brush it in. Just like so. Just going to lightly brush it in. I just want to pick up a little bit of the orange in there. Just like that. Then I'm going to get some of my burnt sienna. I'll come in here with it. I'm going to blend it back down into that orange. You didn't know the label could be so complicated, did you? I'll come in here and I'll do the same thing here too. We're going to blend this back in. Just like so. Just like so. Then I'm going to come in. We'll get my white. I add some white to the label. So we're going to put some white up in here on the label. I'm going to come in here with some white right on this edge right here. I'm going to run some white in there like that. I'm going to put some white down in here. I'm just going to kind of brush it back and forth like so. Put some white down in here. Maybe some over in here like this. Some up in here. And basically, at this point, we have the label done. It's not much more to do. You could come in, grab just a touch of orange, kind of brush some orange up on this edge right here, if you wanted to. Just brush a little orange up on the edge. Blend it back in. Just get a little more dimension if you want. Just like that. Bring that orange up in here too. Just blend it all back in. Just kind of let your brush flow across the label. And your label's done. It was that easy, that simple. Now, next step we're going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small correction. Always kind of step back away from your painting if you can, and see any places where you might need a correction. I got one small correction I have to make. It's no big thing. What I'm going to do is grab a little bit of my orange right here. I'm going to come right here, and I'm just going to blend that back, because I had a little hump there in my bottle. So I'm getting rid of the hump. Just blending this orange back in, like so. Now I'll come back in with my black, back on the edge of the bottle, and voila, correction made. That easy. Corrections are easy to make. When you see them, you just go in and do them. I mean, it's that simple. Now, it's the next part. It's a little tricky, and I will tell you, if you don't feel comfortable with doing this way I'm going to do it, that's fine. After your painting dries, come back in with a Sharpie and do it. Okay? But if you're going to use a Sharpie, use a fine point Sharpie if you're going to do that for what I'm getting ready to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little outline to the petals, but we're not going to do a solid outline. It's going to be a really light outline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my liner brush. Got my liner brush, you can see it there. Make sure that I have a good sharp point on it. Pull most of the paint out of it. I don't want a whole lot of paint in it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to lightly outline the petals. Just slightly. Nothing major. Nothing big and solid. We're just going in and we're just doing a really light outline on the petals. I'm trying to be careful here because I don't want to dip my arm into the paint, into the wet paint. Just going to do a real light outline on the petals. Doesn't have to be perfect. Shouldn't be perfect. You're just barely going in there and you're just doing this really fine outline. You're going to go around each petal. I need to bring this one right through there. You're going to go around each petal and do this on each petal. And you should be able to see where the pencil lines are. And that's where you're going to hit, is where the pencil lines are. It don't have to be hard. Shouldn't be hard. If the line skips, that's okay. It's absolutely fine. You kind of want it to skip, to be truthful. Just doing this real light outline. So we're going to go all the way around each petal. And we'll outline each petal. Oops. Where'd that one go? Oh, see, I lost an outline there. Just barely touching. Barely touching. And like I said, if you don't feel comfortable doing it with a brush, that's fine. Wait until your painting dries, get a fine line marker, like a Sharpie. Do this with a Sharpie. It's perfectly acceptable. You can do it with a fine line paint pen too if you want, but I'd really recommend doing it with a fine line Sharpie. Be honest with you. It just look better. And if you do it with a fine line Sharpie, if you do come in here and you outline this with a fine line Sharpie, keep this in mind when you do it. You don't want solid lines. That's not what you're aiming for here. So just kind of skip your line with that fine line marker. Just kind of come in and just do a little area of line and then move on and do another little area of line. You don't want anything really heavy or solid here. That's not what you're trying for. So you're gonna just, each petal, just do a light line. You can do this, I'm doing this in black. You can also do this in brown if you want. Brown is definitely perfectly acceptable for doing sunflower petals. I've outlined sunflower petals in brown before, so it's something I'm used to doing. If you want to try outlining your petals in brown, by all means, do. Go with that. Go with that burn umber, and outline your petals with the burn umber. No matter what you do, you cannot mess up your painting. I'm telling you right now. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm going to mess that up." No, you're not going to mess it up. You can't mess it up. The reason why you can't mess it up is because each painting, and this is the thing I always try to stress to people. Remember, each painting is different. One painting is not going to be like another painting. Your painting is not going to be like your neighbor's. You can get 10,000 chimpanzees doing the same painting, and the painting's going to look different each time. So, just remember, you can't mess it up. Now, what I'm doing here is I didn't like how blobby that looked right there. So what I've decided to do is just wet my brush down and go back over some of this right through here. And it still looks blobby to me. I don't like it. When I don't like something, I correct it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to correct this. Just by doing that. Sometimes it's little things that matter. I'll come back in after this dries. I'm going to go back over that again because I really didn't like how blobby that turned out right there. That's okay. I may leave it like that. I kind of like how that looks. It has a little kind of different dimension to it. I didn't like this one either, so I'm going to go back in here. And I'm going to change this to be that green. I'll put a new line in for the edge of my flower. This is what I'm talking about. You can go back in and you can correct your painting all you want to correct it. It's your painting. You can do whatever you want. You can walk away from it for a day and come back in and do something different with it. You know, don't think that just because you just did that painting that it's set in stone and that's how it has to be and nothing can change it, because that's not true. You can change it because it's your painting. So I'll come back in here after this dries and I'm going to go in and I'm going to redo this area right here. It's no big thing right now. I don't care because I can correct it. I'm going to take a little bit of black, just little bit on that liner brush. We'll come along this edge right here on the label. Just going to add a little bit of black right there on that edge, right on the edge of the label. We'll take a little bit of black, just a little bit more black. We'll go on the label. Add some lines onto the label. Let's put some lines in here. Not many, just enough to give it a little character, you know. I think also what I'll do, I'm going to wipe my brush down, take a little bit of green, and I'm just going to go like this with a little bit of green, just right through there. just like that. Might dilute that out a little bit. Let's put a little bit of white over that. Touch down here, like so. Just something to add a little difference to it. What do you think? All right. That, my friends, is the finished painting. We have the finished painting now. The only thing that we haven't done is we haven't signed it. So I'm going to sign the painting. Where do you think I ought to sign this painting at? Do you think I ought to do it on the label? That would be kind of a fun place to do it, wouldn't it? Yeah. Let's sign the painting on the label. So I'm going to grab a little bit of black on my liner brush. I want black, or do I want another color? I know. Oh, you know, I did forget to do one thing though. Oh, shame on me. I'm so bad. Take your liner brush before you sign your painting. Take your liner brush, dip the end of it in the white. Not the brush side, the other side. And go in here in the center and add some dots. Add some dots into the center of that painting. Can't believe I almost forgot to do that. Let's just put some dots in there. I'll just add some dots into the center of that painting. We'll override them over the edge a little bit, and then we're going to go in and we are going to grab the yellow. We're going to add yellow dots. Let's put yellow dots in there. I really can't believe I almost forgot to do that. Had a brain fart moment there. Put your yellow dots in. Don't forget to come up here and add a couple yellow dots. All right, now let's sign this. I am going to come in with the burnt sienna. I'm going to sign right here on the label. We're going to go my signature is the initials of my real name. You all know me as a Gypsy, but my real name is James Allen George, and the Mad Hatter's name was Rachel Ruth George, my lovely wife, who each and every painting I do for Mad Hatter Tea Party Art is dedicated to her memory. We'll put the top part of my G, like so. And since this is the year 25, the bottom part of the G is the top part of the 2, which for some reason is not wanting to flow. We have a flow problem. There we go. There's the bottom part of the 2. And then we've got to do the 5. And that, my friends, is a done painting. Like I said, I'll go back in later after this dries, and I'm going to take that greenish look out of there. I'm going to put yellow over the top of that, and I don't know if it's Actually, might be dry enough right now to do that. Let's see. Well, bust my buttons. Look at that. Look at that. And now I'll grab the black and put my little line of black in there and hopefully not blob it out like I did a minute ago. And it's done. There we go. By gosh, my friends, we did a painting. Let me make myself large again and we'll talk about it. There I go, going large. Go large or go home. Ah. There we go. Well, let's try and snap it to its grid. It's being stubborn. There we go. All right, my friends. This was Bloom and Bottle Paint Party. I hope you had fun doing it. I like this one. This is really nice. And I'm going to hold it up there for you so that you can see it. And of course, we'll post a picture of it at the end of this video. One thing we always talk about here is painting the edges on these gallery stretched canvases. You definitely want to paint that edge. Just take whatever paint you have and just paint that edge. You see what I'm doing there? Just paint that edge. And it gives your painting a more finished look is what it does. And we're all about making the painting just as nice looking as we possibly can. And when you paint those edges, it definitely makes the painting nice looking when you do that. Our next one is going to be a hummingbird. It's spring. Hummingbirds are going to be coming back around. I'm excited to do it because it's a really colorful one. We'll have a lot of fun doing that. There's a lot of colors in that one. A lot of colors. So make sure you go to the event page for the hummingbird. And it'll be underneath Hummingbird Online Painting Event. And you'll be able to find it pretty easy. We'll put links on it all over the place. Anyway, go there. Check out what supplies you're going to need for that. It's a very colorful painting. It's going to be a very fun painting to do. And I guess the only thing left to say is until next time, may God bless you and yours. And this is your friendly neighborhood gypsy saying, see you later, Gators. Hasta la vista, baby. Bye-bye now.